You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430, episode 227. Craig, we're climbing, buddy. We're climbing. If you're watching, and even if you're listening, it doesn't matter. We have got brought back with us by request, too, because he actually messaged me. I didn't have to go bumming around and asking him. He messaged me. So we got Drew Smith from Canards Waterfowl back with us again. I think it was only probably about a month ago or 2 months ago when you were on with us the last time, Drew. I think. Can you hear me, buddy?
Yep, I got you now.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
now it was a little bit of lag, but we're catching up now. Yeah, thanks for having me again, guys. Super stoked to be here. I did. I was a dirty girl. I messaged you first. Yeah, it's true. That's very, very true.
I like them when they're easy.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to thank our sponsors, First Light, Real Geese, and Ducklander Calls. All three very, very important brands to me and Craig, because we use their products all the time anyways. And then we don't just say it because we've been using their stuff for a really long time. So please, if you can, head over to their socials, give them a like, give them a follow, and let them know that you heard about them through the Punisher Waterfowl Union 0430 podcast. And of course, we have to thank the voice of the Union 0430, Captain Jeff Coates from Pit Boss Waterfowl in the great state of Maryland. Thinking of you, we are, buddy. Whew. Drew, great to have you back, buddy. Great to have you back.
Yeah, super stoked to be here, guys. Yeah, no, I missed you guys. We'll start with that, right? The sentimental stuff, get it out of the way.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I've been a fan for a while, and like we talked about a little bit earlier, I appreciate the genuine sentiment that you guys approach what we all love to do. Yeah,
and the laughs have already started before we even got rolling.
yeah, right.
So the laughs had already started.
Oh yeah. We've been laughing. Yeah, we've been laughing for a while. That's the worst thing about when you're recording a show and you know you get people to come on and of course especially with someone that you've already built a relationship with, right? So there's that familiarity. That's a word, right?
Nailed it.
Yep, you got it.
You know, and you've got already a relationship, so there's some laughs and you can throw some digs in at one another and stuff, and you're shooting the shit and you're laughing, having a good time, and then you realize, Craig, we've said this a million times, shit, we gotta stop, let's hit the record buttons because this is the stuff we need to get on the show instead of wasting all of our good material when nothing was rolling.
Well, then even when you try and like go back to it once you're recording, you don't capture it the same way. It's just,
of course not.
You don't get that that same sort of just genuine flow to it.
I'm going to start something off here tonight, and I'm probably going to get it from a few people because I drive a Ford pickup, so I'm sure there's a bunch of people that's already that's oh well, that's your first problem. You drive a Ford.
Yeah, they're signing off right now.
or just delete. Yeah,
or they want to know what happened with my truck, just so that they've got some more fuel for the fire. I'm literally driving down the highway today. And all my controls, I lost control of everything. So like the truck is driving is still safe. I can't put my windows down. I can't unlock my doors. I can't adjust the heat. I can't, everything is just, the only thing I can do is I can change the volume and the radio station with the controls on my steering wheel.
Which is important.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, what more do you need? Exactly.
When she's pumping out, I think, you know, I was at around 23 degrees Celsius, so that's probably about 75 Fahrenheit in the truck.
Yeah.
And so the window controls in the back, they work. So I'm like driving down the highway, trying to reach back, get the windows down to get some draft in. So I'm not gonna what it's not hypothermia, it's hyperthermia when it's heat. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is my truck, right? And I'm like, wait a second, it's a 2020. And this is 20. So this is about right, because I think the car manufacturers now build their vehicles. Here's a conspiracy theory for you.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say,
think
yeah. Hold on, let me get my notepad. Go on.
I think they build the fucking cars and trucks and automobiles to fail after 5-6 years. So you got to go buy something else.
They're
I fucking
planned
think
obsolescence
Then there's
kind of thing.
yeah. I heard a good buddy talk about this. So I think there is a lot more that can go wrong at that 5 year mark than there used to be, right? So to your point, right? Like it definitely. What my question would be, so when you're driving down the road, what song were you listening to when all this
I
went
was
on?
listening
Like that's
to talk radio. So it was hockey.
okay.
It was like talk radio.
I'm
So
going to assume it's taken us back to our conversation a few weeks ago about ghosts. And you went through a spot where there had been an accident before, and the ghost was there messing with your electronics. That's
you
100% what happened.
you think so?
Oh yeah, what else could it be?
Yeah, that's clearly it.
Logical answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing
There-
else. No,
There's
no.
fairies. There's fairies living underneath the hood of my truck, and not
I don't.
not the LGBTQ kind. It's like real fairies, right? I was like, that's just the way it is. That's real fairies.
Funny.
I guess the LGBT.
Have you been a Ford guy your whole life?
Always been a Ford guy,
Really?
and I tell you, but now the new Chevs, I do like the look of the new Chev pickup.
They're handsome, right? Like, man.
But I tell you, I had this pet peeve with Chev and GMC trucks, and the wheel wells being square with round tires just to blow my. I'm like, that is the most asinine
I
fucking.
never even paid attention.
Oh yeah, look at it. But now the new ones, so I think maybe 2023 onwards, the wheel wells are rounded. So now it looks symmetrical, right? So now I'm like, oh, okay. But the Chev truck now is just it's a beautiful pickup truck. But I always found Ford pickups the best looking pickup out of them all. But Chev's coming in now. But like, go back to the thing, right? And this is really relevant today, because in North America, especially in America, you have an administration right now that's pushing for, we want stuff built back in America and all this. Like, remember back in the day when it was like when American made meant like the fucking thing was bomb proof.
Yeah.
And you didn't buy foreign vehicles because they just weren't reliable, or they would be falling apart. But like, you got 8,000 pounds of American steel rolling down the highway. Like, that thing could take out elephants if it wanted to.
It's practically a tank. You know what I mean? At that point, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like a 72 Chevy would have been. Oh my God, that's golly, dude. That's my dream truck, right? Like if I roll up to the to the boat ramp, pulling a duck boat in a 72 Chevy. Just fun fact, I am the coolest guy at the boat ramp. So like that to me is like, yeah, that's my dream truck. So
I
yes.
think I want to keep going on this, because I'm a very visual. I see things
100%,
and
man.
it's cool. And I'm just thinking, so let's say you've come back. That's my wife pulling in. Hey,
Sounded like a dog to me, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds exactly like a dog, buddy. Like
you're just pissing everybody off tonight, Damien.
Yeah,
Jeez, easy over there.
let's see how that plays out for you.
I'll put it on.
So many new unsubscribers this week.
Yeah, so many. They're idiots. but yet I have a
Although the
great
dog
wife.
barking is probably the most waterfowl related thing we've had in weeks.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, I get it, like the dog's barking, but I love it because welcome to having a dog. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You want a dog as your best friend? Guess what? There's stuff that comes with it.
Mhm.
Deal with it.
yeah,
You know what I
kidding.
mean?
Room to me. But yeah, like so you think about the coolest kid. Could you imagine like pulling up to the gas station? So let's say the gas station, because you would have to hit the gas station a lot with a 72 Chev. That's a 305 engine in it
Oh
or a
yeah.
350.
I'm rocking a Chevy
And
small block. I'm drinking it. So
yeah, that's right. You pull up to the fuel pumps and you've got that truck two-tone, right? So there's
yeah.
two-tone colored, and you're pulling like an XL boat with a Mud Buddy motor onto it,
Oh my
and you
God.
get it.
Preach. Yes, preach.
Oh,
Go on. Yes.
right? And you got your flat brim hat on, and I don't know, man. You just step out. I just think the minute you step out of your truck in that situation, you just have to imagine that everybody is looking at you in slow
Oh,
motion. You can get out, and
oh my God, dude.
don't have the problem. We don't have long flowing locks that the wind can take or anything like that. But I'm telling you,
Oh
man,
my.
The
Oh,
only thing I
dude.
would change about that image is the hat
yeah,
would be from like a seed company or something like an ag company.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
God.
The old
Like
green and white or something.
it's something like an old John Deere,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, a
God,
little
dude.
tractor hat or something like that. You know what?
I-
There's somebody listening to this show right now that's a big deal in marketing, and they are
They're about to
script.
build it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're about to make
Yeah.
this. We'll see it. We're not going to get any appreciation for coming
No,
up with this
zero.
idea,
Yeah.
but
Utterly zero.
if you see anything on socials or anything like that, just know it came from us first.
Oh,
Well, there's so many
100%. Well,
people that listen and watch. They'll know.
yeah, they'll know where it came from. Yeah. That's like, dude, my God, if I rolled up to a gas station in Louisiana at 4:30 in the morning with a gator
Mhm.
tail and a mud motor on it, and I get out in Bottomland Original because that's what Jesus wears, just in case anybody's listening right now. All right, that's what he wears.
Yeah.
Okay, like you can hate me all you want, you can DM me and tell me I'm an idiot. I don't care, but that's what God and Jesus wear, both, right?
Yeah.
And so you get out of a '72 Chevy in nothing but Bottomland Original with a black lab in the South, buddy. You better hold on to your wife or girlfriend because they're gonna be sprinting at you. So like there's no coming back from that. You will not recover. Oh, literally, like clothes are coming off. Like it's just at 4:30 in the morning. Like you're not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't get
Hey,
any better than
Wade Shoemaker, if you're listening, because
that.
Wade do listen sometimes, so this isn't a total far-fetched idea for me to
No.
name drop Wade. But Wade, if you're listening, that's your next project right there, buddy. When you're doing what's that thing that he does, that boat ramp where they
Oh
him and
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
right? Where he's with Mygram ammunition and they just
Yeah,
travel around the boat ramps and stuff. There you go, Wade. That's your next boat ramp excursion right there.
dude. Their
I'm
stuff
telling
hit. Their
you.
Migra hits like hammers, dude. I will
Oh
openly
yeah,
admit
I
that.
haven't used it.
Really?
No,
Oh,
I have
dude,
not
they're
used it.
okay. So like, I am not sponsored by Migra in any way, shape, or form, but I tried out last year their
Mhm.
2 and 4s,
Yeah,
buddy. Hits like a
right
freight
there.
train. Just
Like a duplex load.
sure, yeah, the widest load you can hit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was super impressed with their stuff.
I've
I I, I just tried them out.
there's a few brands that's coming out with that mix shot size
Oh,
now, and
stack. Yeah,
yeah, the stack loads, and it
yeah.
just seems like everybody. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or what, but it just seems like anybody that shoots those stack loads, they're just like, man, that's it. That's the money right there.
I've had
And
good luck with some. Like last year in Saskatchewan, we had I can't remember. We were using Federal because that's who
Okay.
those guys were
Yeah.
with. And I can't remember the goose loads. I wasn't hitting anything. And I
Okay.
think they were like
Okay.
BBs and twos, and the
Yeah.
duck loads we had I think were fours and sixes. And and we were killing, like, I was shooting birds all day long. And then I've used some others, like I had Kent 4.6s last year, and I was doing really well with those. But yeah, some brands, some loads have done well, other ones I haven't.
Well, yeah, no, I would agree with you, Craig. Like I have tried. So I patterned out at my job. We have a indoor range. So and a lot of people don't always schedule it. So what I'll do is, oddly enough, I will take in shotguns and test different ammos, right? Just because no one's in there, right?
Right.
And I'll test different
Yeah.
loads because I'll buy like a box of this or a box of that, and the what I have found, right? Like I am not a ballistics. I do not work for NASA, nor do I have a degree in ballistics. But right, but like the larger count, the larger the BB, mixing is, in my experience, not good. The further I go, the smaller the BB. It seems to work even better. The middle
Okay.
ground that I have personally found for the best pattern, right? And again, I am not sponsored by Migra, is the 2 and 4s,
Yeah.
right? Like they shoot a beautiful, and I challenge anybody to do it. Like go out and actually pattern, right? Because that's actually very few people who actually pattern, but go pattern your gun and see how it does. And dude, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So because
The
I'm a big boss guy, and I shot that Migra stuff, and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, like what do we got here? Like what's going on? So
it's crazy too, eh? Like, if you read if you read the Boss Shot Shell story, right? Like
mhm.
how that brand started, and just that
Yeah, dude.
guy, like, just he come up with this idea. He started, passing it out to fellas as they came through
Mhm.
outfitting, and then fellas were like, "Man, this stuff is the tits."
Yeah.
And they were coming back, and they were like, "Can we have some more of this? Like, do you have more of
Yep.
this?" And you know, it's amazing what people can do when they're convinced that I think I can do a better job, or I
Dude.
can, or
Yeah.
not so
Like,
much a better job that it's shit products out there, but I think I can improve it. That's the better word. That's the better way
yeah.
to say it. I think I can improve this, and it's insane what some dudes and ladies what they can do when they're like, I think I can improve this. Like, I tell you what, I am very comfortable around explosives and
Mhm.
and that whole stuff from my previous life. But I'm gonna tell you, sitting around with gunpowder and trying to figure out what I'm gonna put through my shotgun, that is not something that registers with me as something that I should be doing. And these guys that do it, man,
That's,
they're just brilliant, right? Like they
yeah.
just think on a different spectrum. It's awesome.
And to
No,
make those tweaks and make it work and make it
yeah,
viable, because like
that's it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure any of the companies could tweak this or tweak that, but then you also have to sell it. It's got to be at a
That's
certain
right.
price point. It's
Mhm.
so, like, to be able to make those improvements, and because yeah, anybody can make those improvements, but are they going to be able to roll it out?
So that's
Well,
a
yeah.
good. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Drew.
No, no, I was just gonna say, like, to Creek's point, right? Like, it it fascinates me that these people are sitting at their dinner table thinking about feet per
Yeah.
second for a number two BB, right? Like
Yeah.
that's how intensely these people are thinking about this. And I couldn't, oh man, yeah, like yeah, a lot of respect for them. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, great job, fellas, everybody, right? Like all these companies are doing phenomenal job.
I know.
So like they're making us less cripples, we're getting more birds. I'm eating more duck, which is what I'm really concerned with.
Mhm.
Like that is like kudos to them, man.
The yeah, like, so Craig, you sort of you hit on something there when you said, they've got to come up with this, and they've got to plan it, and they got to try and market it, and they've got to get it at a price point where people are going to be comfortable. And then, like, I've got buddies, like, so I've got a pile. I shoot Apex. I started shooting Apex last fall, and I really like it. Now I haven't shot
Also
any.
great ammo though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't shot
Also a
any
good
of their
job.
stack load. I'm right on their steel, their S3 stuff, right?
Yeah.
So and I like it. And when I bought it, like, I had people, they were like, really? Are you? Because I've got a friend, like, he buys the cheapest ammo, whatever it is. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
the brand. He buys the cheapest ammo, and he's a killer. Like he is, he gets his birds. But yet, for a guy like me, that I'm not the greatest shot by no means, and if I can stop having cripples and stuff like this, but the point I'm trying to make is that there's enough diehards out there that they'll pay the extra if it means they're going to harvest a bird properly and not have to chase, have to run it down in the water or send a dog on a long retrieve. If they can fold it right there, they're going to pay the extra money. Like Pat Hendricks with Canadian Waterfowl Supplies, like that's what he shoots. He shoots the tungsten stuff, I think, or the bismuth stuff.
Gosh,
From
dog, that stuff is expensive though, man.
and
Yeah.
but that's
Golly, dude.
but his reasoning behind it is that I don't get out hunting as much as I want to because he's
Okay.
just a
Yeah.
busy
Okay.
dude.
Okay.
And when he gets out and when he pulls the trigger, he wants birds to fall. He doesn't want cripples. He doesn't want birds flying away or swimming away
Yeah.
or anything like that. When he pulls the trigger, he wants the bird to fold up and fall. So
All right.
and he can afford it, right? So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
by no means, I don't think any of us are here are saying, listen, the only way to be successful is if you're buying this premium ammo. That's not what we're getting at. What we're getting at is that there's other options out there. And for anybody that's thinking about, well, can I make it affordable? I think you'd
Yeah.
be surprised on what fellas will fucking spend, how much money fellas will spend to
Yeah.
get their ducks.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's true. That's very true.
I don't know.
Yeah. Golly, that's a tough one, right? Because like there's so much that goes into that, right? Because there's so many different companies that it's like, man, like like Apex, phenomenal. I've also tried Apex, and they also pattern really well. So it's like, golly, man, there's so many good, because as the consumer, you're winning, right? Because all these people are competing for your business. So it's a
Right.
good time to be a duck hunter in regards to ammo, right? Because you got Kent, you got Apex, Boss, like there's so many I'm not naming, Winchester, like
Red.
Remington, all of them are making these incredible tungsten loads.
Yep.
Like it's fascinating how many of these people have like pushing the limit of our ammunition, right?
And I
Because you're
think, yeah, and I think fellas are just looking for another, just that next notch
Yep,
level
that
that
edge.
that they think, like, look at when I can't remember who made it, but they came out with that hexagonal pellet. Whoever that was, I
Oh yeah,
forget.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about, dude.
It was
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
hexagonal pellet, right? And I can remember looking at it and thinking about it. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah,
aerodynamically, like it just, like, I'm sure it might bounce around and
yeah. Hmm.
do more damage once it hits the target. Um, but it just, either way, but like blindside, that's what it was called.
Oh
But
yeah, it's Winchester's
people
stuff.
were,
Winchester's, yeah,
people were flocking to that because they just thought maybe this is the
Maybe
edge
this
I
will do
need.
it, right?
Maybe this will do
yeah,
it. And I don't know. I didn't like it. I shot it. I had to buy a box just to try it. Personally, I didn't like it, but I did hear some fellows say that they liked it and they got their birds. And but yeah, you're right. It's a crazy time. Like, you look, every year there's a new clothing company
yeah,
coming out.
yeah. 100%, man. Like
Right.
like. Oh well, me personally, like I've progressed from. I started with Black Cloud, right? Like I
Yeah.
shot the cheap stuff when I was a kid, a teenager, and a
Uh-huh.
young man in college because
Of
I didn't
course.
have
Of
money
course.
for anything else, right? Like,
No.
and
Yeah.
then I progressed to like Black Cloud when that was popular. Duck Commander and all those guys were shooting it, and I wanted
Uh-huh.
to try it,
Uh-huh.
And then I progressed. Then Apex came on the scene, and I was like, "Oh man, this is super cool." And I shot Migra for a while, and then I shot. Now I shoot Boss just because,
Yep.
like, a guy I know over there, Dirk. He's a solid dude. I met him at Ducks out in Texas, and he sold me
Okay.
on it. And I tried a bunch of stuff of theirs, and to include turkey loads. And I like I love the way it patterns. It patterns pretty dang dense, in my opinion, right? Like again, I am
Yep.
not ballistics expert, but um, patterns beautifully for me, and so that's what I shoot. A little more kick, I will say that about Boss. Got a little bit more kick, right? A little more feet per
Okay.
second.
Yeah.
But it hits like a hammer, and that's I. To your point, like anytime somebody says fold, I'm like, oh god, nostalgia, right? Like because there is nothing better than you. It's your turn on singles. You pull up, boom, fold, slash,
Yeah.
send the dog. All
That's
right,
the most
I'll be here
pressure.
all week, boys. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like that's like there's nothing more special than that,
That's
right?
pressure on a different level. Hey, this bird's Damien's.
Oh, I hate
I know I'm gonna miss this.
I hate when people do that. I've been lucky the few times where like I've been on a hunt and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I've been lucky that those are like my best shots of the year.
Oh, good for you.
And because it's happened to me a few times, and like luckily I'm like, oh man, thank God that happened.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. See, I love those moments because step one, panic, right? And then step two, like, oh God, here we go. Just squeeze and hope to God that like my gun reloads and here we go. You know what I mean? Like I'm on round two. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
Drew, buddy, like it's been actually I meant to go look and see how long it's been since you've been on the show. I think it's been a couple months.
it's been about I think it's been like oh God. Oh, over a month, for a month and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
for
least
sure.
a month and a half.
What's new and exciting with Canards? Like I know the last episode you had it in your brain. This is what you wanted to do. Like how have you graduated from the first show to where we are today?
Oh yeah, man, that's a great question. So so the first off to your listeners, like thank you very much for the incredible feedback. I think I was absolutely dumbfounded by the amount of people that reached out and were positive and supported me and just overall just incredible feedback. And if you're listening right now, please DM me. I'm more than happy to hear your feedback and like what you want to see in the waterfowl world and from some of the clothing that's coming out. Like, dude, I'm just absolutely blown away. What's new is I'm working on a new batch of hats, right? Like, I got some great feedback from a lot of listeners about hats, right? So we're at a point now for Canards Waterfowl where I'm literally just stacking every penny that I can, squirreling it away, and I found a manufacturer. That's going to make a base layer and a mid layer for us, right? And then they're also I found somebody that's going to sew the jackets. So what we need now is I'm stacking cash. The more hats and shirts we sell, right? Because we got a huge batch of hats coming out, 5 or 6 different hats and 3 shirts, and we're going to come out with that, and then that's going to put us over that big monetary hump to where we can actually drop our first no shit. Uh, Base layer, mid layer, and that first light jacket. So we're just saving up, trying to get to that hurdle, right? Like any other small business in the world, we got our hurdle, right? And we're just trying to get over it. Once we get that, we'll put it into manufacturing and we'll start cooking it off. So
there you go. So for all of you ass hats out there, and I'm going to call you ass hats. For all of you out there that say, "Oh, I love supporting local and I love supporting small business and stuff," well, here's your chance, because just like what we talked about earlier, Drew, before we hit the record button, there is, and Craig, I'm pretty sure you agree with me when I say this, even if you don't, just nod and say that you do. No, but I do believe that there's a group of people out there that really want to be part of a brand when they're starting in their infancy, right? And I think that makes people feel good. And I know it do me if I supported, somebody and bought a t-shirt from them when they first started. Like I'd like to be able to say, like, I bought one of the very first t-shirts or one of the very first hats. I'd like to be able to say that. And I think there's a much bigger population of people that feel that way as well. So here's your chance where you can say, "Hey, listen, I got in on shirts and hats with Canards when he was trying to, to load up the coffers to get ready to go to do his first run of jackets as base layers." So here's your chance. And of course, I am going to tag them and all that stuff. So I'm going to take all the work out of it for you. Like you really don't even need to go. Everything's going to be done. All you got to do is click on a button and
just click that link.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, thank you, first off. And secondly, I think I really hope that those people that are that what you're talking about, right? That are love that brand loyalty, right? I really hope to meet those people too. So if you're ever at Ducks or Delta Waterfowl and you see me walking around, right? Because my picture's on the site, my picture's on the Instagram. Like if you see me, shake my hand. I promise, like I'm not a dick. Like first and foremost, right? But like I want to meet you and I want your feedback and I want to hear. I would like this to turn out to be something customer driven and not monetarily driven. So the next drop you see on Instagram after the jacket is something that you influence, because that is what I think. Waterfowlers are a fickle bunch, but imagine a brand that you had a say in,
That's
right? Because
oh
that
That's
like
nice.
yeah,
my
that was not my intention, but like, imagine that you influenced something that you're wearing, like that. That is what I am trying to create. Because look, here at the end of the day, right? Like, I don't, I don't, I don't have all the good ideas, right? You do. You're the
right.
person using it, right? And that
Yeah.
feedback, whether it's good or bad, right? Like, those are both equally valuable.
I
So,
and I think
yeah.
like, one of the hard things, like for a clothing brand, and however you are in the spectrum of clothing, but for a waterfowler, because we are, we're across what, 4 flyways across North America.
Oh yeah.
Like it is hard to get something that fits in every one of
Everybody.
those,
Yeah.
to fit everybody,
Yeah,
right?
it's not
So
going to
if
be a
you
one size fits all.
Yeah.
absolutely, so if you can get in now, if you can talk to the person that's making it and saying, hey, listen, I'm in Louisiana, I'm in Oklahoma, I'm in Washington State, I'm in Saskatchewan, I'm in New Brunswick. If
Yeah.
you can have those conversations and telling the person, the guy that's designing it or talking to the designer, huh,
Well,
seems
that
no brainer to me.
well, yeah, no, that's the fascinating thing. If you're like even like in the far north, right? Like you guys have wind that we don't necessarily have down south, right? And if you're like Drew, the wind protection sucks, buddy. That dude, that is extremely valuable to me, right? Because like, look, I do, like I said before, I don't have all the answers. I don't, right? You do though. Everybody does,
Yeah.
right? And I can land somewhere in the middle to make you happy with a product. And here's my biggest thing, right? Because we've all walked into Max Prairie Wings, Roger Sporting Goods, whatever your local outdoor shop is, and we excuse me, we've looked at something and we've gone, man, I can't swing it, dude. I'm an average dude. Like I gotta pay for my daughter's new dancing shoes, or I gotta pay for my little kid's new glove. Like, right? Like I can't afford a $500 jacket. But if I can offer you the same quality at 250 and it lasts 5 to 7 years, buddy, we're on to something. Welcome to the fold. You know what I mean? Like that is really like, I'm not interested in making something for some rich doctor or lawyer. Nothing against those guys, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm not interested in making something for them.
Yeah.
Interested in you being there longer with your son or whomever or whatever, man. If I increase your experience by 30 minutes and you get an extra duck, cool. Success, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is a success. So take that for what it's worth. You know what I mean?
No, I
So,
appreciate it, man. I think that I think and here I say this as I'm, I'm trying to make a business and trying to make money as well, right? But if you can always keep it in the back of your head, and I know sometimes you've got to do things that maybe you don't like to do, but you got to do it. But if you can still keep it in the back of your head that you're that 15-year-old kid that when you went to your mom and dad and said, I need these waders, I need these pants, or I need this
yes.
jacket. And then like I remember going to my dad, and we would get, like, back in the day, I lived in Newfoundland on the island, so we would get the fall Cabela's catalog, right? And I would just be circles. It was like the Sears Christmas catalog, right? and I'm just circling shit, and I would give it to my dad, and my dad would be like, "Fuck, I can't buy this stuff. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, just throw an old jacket on and rubber boots and go, just like everybody else done." I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? So if you
Yeah.
can keep it in your back of your head that you're still that 15-year-old kid, and you want to be able to wear some good gear, but you don't
Yeah.
have, I get it. Like, you pay for what you get, but there's a difference when you're a one man business. Well, you don't have the same margins to uphold as the big brands that have a board of directors and all that shit, right?
Yeah,
That's really
various
what I'm getting at.
stakeholders and everybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's I think because it's funny you bring that up, right? My wife asked me a question the other day. She it was a very pointed question, and I really appreciated it in the end because I didn't know how to answer it when she asked it. She said, what's more important to you, like making money or like meeting people in these trade shows? And I was like, oh, hands down, the people.
Yeah.
Right, like like sure, I have to make money, right, to
Yep.
cover my margins. Like we're all realists here, but
Mhm.
in the same vein, I get more out of meeting somebody in a show and being like, dude, I had the most best. Your jacket is so warm. I stayed out there, an hour longer with my grandpa, and we killed a couple of mallards out of the deal because we stayed longer. Like that is far, in my
That's a nice
opinion.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, like
You're a
in
winner.
my
You're a winner.
opinion, like you can't, like that's not a monetary thing. I can't monetize that, right? Like that's worth far more than money. So, and that's what I'm
And it's
interested in.
cool if you can identify and prioritize that for you, right? And
Yeah,
then and that you
yeah,
can make that work for you and keep it that way. And yeah, I think that's where some people forget too. Every business is different. Every
yeah.
motivation is different, and every priority is different within those. So it's great to have a business like yours kind of step in and say, here's the niche I'm going to fill. Here's the
Mhm.
priorities I'm going to set, and see how that plays with the industry and with people out there.
Yeah, that's wow, Craig. Wow, Jesus. That was amazing.
It's
Yeah,
very
holy
enlightening.
shit, man. That was
Well,
biblical. Thank you.
I'm going to go now. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, dude. Wow. That was, man, you just knocked me on my ass, Craig. Thanks, man.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and I would be remiss if I didn't try to get some sunshine on myself here. But when you're talking about what people are saying and stuff, right? Like you had said, after coming on the show and the people that have reached out to you,
Oh,
and
God.
and
Yeah.
it's been 2.5 months since you've been on the show. I looked it up. It's been 16 episodes since you've been on. So that's
Yeah.
about 2.5 months, I think.
Yeah, so for the people, I'm sorry to cut in, but this is
Yeah.
important for me to say on this episode. So that for your listeners, right? Like, the people that reached out and the people that are listening now, like, wow, what an incredible group of people. First and foremost, the positive feedback that I received and the advice and the extensions of help that people put out there. Wow, like you guys are incredible. If you're listening to this right now, you like, thank you so much. Um, it has been an absolute incredible experience from the first episode because there are several of you that reached out and were like, "Hey, man, I want to support you. I can't wait for the first jacket." Like it extends far beyond that stuff. Again, can't put a price point on it. Like it
Yeah.
was absolutely amazing, man. You guys are stellar. Please keep doing what you're doing. Keep enjoying the outdoors. Keep listening to Punisher Waterfowl, like it, wow, like that. I was blown away. Simply put, I was blown away by the level of support.
And I think that's an important thing, Craig. Like something that we always try to bring light to. Like I know there's jerks out there, right? And I know there's people out there that's going to try and take advantage of you, and I know there's jerks out there that's in it for themselves and stuff. But there are a very, very large population of people that genuinely want to see other people succeed. And I think that's the people that you had messaging you, Drew, is that they were
Yeah.
like, hey, this is a cool idea. I like the message that this dude's throwing out. I want to support him. And
Yeah.
I think there's more of that. It's not, because the bad stuff is what always gets the airtime. It's never the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I do think that there is a lot of people out there that genuinely want to support and see brands grow and do good things.
Oh yeah, you're 100% right. I think there are people that I'm they don't want to be bamboozled, right? Like with the social
Right.
media and all the different little ways that you can like trick somebody into buying your product now. They want something that's a little bit more, excuse me, genuine. I think it shows. I think the proof that all those people that are listening to your show reached out to me is proof of that, without a doubt.
And like to tie that into a couple of things we're already talking about, like you were talking about, you like to do the shows and stuff like that, like the trade shows, and and just the support and the genuine people listening to that. Like, so like our core group of friends that we know listen to this show weekly, and that, like, you know, the people I know, it's a small portion of the people who listen, but like those are good, solid people. Like, you know, if they're gonna reach out, if they've got something to say, like it's worth listening to. It's not just somebody just wanting to be heard. It's a good message. They've got something useful for you. And yeah, same with being at the shows. Like, it's, you get to interact with those people, you get to have those genuine conversations, and you get to see their passion for the sport or whatever the show may be about. Like, it's, you're getting to kind of get a little insight into them, and they're getting that insight into you as well. And like you were saying, like, having those opportunities, people can see through any of the bullshit.
Yep,
They can see,
100%.
because like you go to some of those booths at various shows, you can tell they've hired people to be there. They've hired models
Oh,
to be
yeah.
there
Yep,
to talk about a product that they don't know anything about.
yep.
So yeah, they're enthusiastic because they're getting paid to be there. But you can, yeah, when somebody like you is at a booth or Damien's at a booth, like, you know that that person's not just talking bullshit to you, and
Yeah.
there's huge value in that sort of thing.
Yeah, you guys, wow, Craig, you're on point tonight, bud. Just to say the least. So yeah, he is razor sharp right now. Um, that is, I
Yeah,
did
didn't
a
work
like,
all week. That's why.
yeah. uh, the other day I gave a hat to a kid. It wasn't it was total like, oh man, a trunk sale type thing. Like, hey, the
Yeah.
guy wanted to buy some hats and some shirts, and I was like, okay, man, I got some shit in the car. I'll help you out. Like, and his kid came along, and I gave his kid a hat, right? And man, dude, you'd think I handed that kid a golden bar, like
Oh, yeah.
a bar made
Yeah.
of gold. You know what I mean? Like, I put that kid, I like put it on his hat or put it on his head, and then I was just like, hey, dude, you couldn't. The Grinch that stole Christmas didn't have a smile that big. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
and that was his first. His dad looked at me and was like, "Dude, that's his first hat." And I was
Oh,
like,
really?
"Oh yeah." I was like, "Oh, buddy." I was like, "Well, that one's free of charge." So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like the kid's smile, and I was like, I looked at my wife and I was like, "That's
Yeah.
why I started right
Yeah.
there." Like that kid, whether he buys another hat in his entire life, I don't give a shit. But like that smile that that kid just had because he got his first duck hunting hat, like it's Mossy Oak Bottomland, by the way. Just for everybody, just for everybody listening, I'm not sponsored by Mossy Oak.
Uh,
That's
Phil,
but
Phil always has this. Everything's better in
Yeah.
bottomland. That's
yeah, it is. It is.
that's
Honest to
Phil's
God,
thing.
like
Everything's better in bottomland.
women rain from the heavens when you wear bottomland. I don't know if you guys know that, but yeah, it was that kid smiling. I was just like, holy shit, I'm on the right path. You know what I mean? Like that when I was like, okay, cool, that's all right. Now we're doing something worthwhile.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, even like, look, just handing out your stickers, Damien, at the sportsman show. Like, and I was surprised, like the amount of kids going through there and all like super polite and everything. Cause like they wouldn't even come up and ask for anything, but if they're walking by, you ask them if they want a sticker, and like they'd look at their mom or dad and be like, "Can I?" And they come
Yeah.
up, and especially with Damien's logo with the orange, I think kids are just drawn to it. And yeah, you hand them a sticker, best day of their life.
Yeah.
They've got a bag of 300 other stickers, but that sticker is still their favorite one every time they stop at a booth.
Yep.
But you think about a kid, right? And my dad had a couple of really, really great quotes when it came to kids. But one thing that he had always said is that kids are are honest to a fault. So they don't know faking emotion at young
Wow,
ages, right?
that's
So
wow, that's
so they
alarmingly true.
so like when you seen that kid smile when you gave him a hat, that there is no fake in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is 100% as legitimate as you're going to get ever in your fucking life, right?
yeah,
Because they don't know how to fake. They just know honest. They just, well, it's a fucking sticker, and they throw it in the bag and then they walk off, right? If they're not interested in it,
yeah.
they don't know to just
Well,
surprise or whatever. You know
and
what
to
I mean?
prove that too, it's like because some kids, it's like they grab it in their hand, they'll be like, "No thanks," and they hand it back
Yeah, that's
to you.
Come by and they'd be like, you'd say, "Would you like a sticker?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I'd love a sticker." And they'd come up and they'd look and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, never mind." but
that's
but again, that's kids. They're just
yeah,
brutally honest, right? In
true.
in all aspects of life. So hey, listen, you want to impress somebody, you go get a 6-year-old kid, and if that kid's happy with what you're doing, you're probably in the ballpark of doing
Yeah.
all right for yourself.
Well, I think that yeah, it's a big thing. I told my wife, I was like, when we get humming, right? Like when the jacket is cooking and people are
Yeah.
purchasing the jacket, I'm doing a kids hat line at a discount for
Yeah.
for people. Like you
Yeah.
buy a jacket, you get a kid's hat because the margin is not like I don't see an excuse not to do it, man. Like I really don't, right? Because like here's the thing, man. Like it this game or the hunting in general is about memories and the experience. It was never about money, despite like all the different social media posts, right? But like
Yeah.
it was about you out there sharing that moment in time in the outdoors, right? Like if you can make that a smidge better by a hat, a shirt, a jacket, whatever, man, like is it like I'll go to the grave with a smile on my face, I guess is the best way to
So
put
I
that.
gotta, so I gotta ask you: is my audio coming through all right? Because it sounds wonky out of my headset.
You're
Sounds all right.
crystal clear. You're crystal
Okay.
clear for me.
Okay. So
So
here's the question that I gotta ask, and I'm not throwing shade on you, Drew,
no, no,
whatsoever.
no. Lay it on me, man. Lay it on me.
This this is what I this is what bugs me, and I've talked to Craig about this a million times, and I've said it to some other close friends, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago as well. And we come on this show and we talk about this great message and how we can all be friends and we all need to be nice to one another, and dollars doesn't isn't the be all end all and stuff. And I say that, and I honestly mean it. Like I don't need Punisher Waterfowl in order to put food on my table. I've done a career. I'm
Yeah.
good. My wife has a great career. Um, so I'm not like a lot of small business owners where I need the small business in order to survive, right? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of small businesses that's how
Yeah.
they do it. But yet I'm on here standing on my soapbox talking about being friendly and doing all this, and it's not always all about the money. But yet I'm I've created a brand and I want to make money. Like I do. I want to make money.
Yeah.
Is it the most important thing to me? No, but I still want to make money. So this is what I this is where my struggle is. Am I a hypocrite for coming on this show and saying all of these, catchphrases and things that are nice to say and nice to hear? But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to promote a brand. I'm still trying to make money.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
is there
Okay.
a conflict of interest there anywhere? And I don't know, because I think from Damian Pittman,
Mm-hmm.
all of the things I say is honestly what I feel. I honestly, like, some people might think I'm an asshole. I don't think I'm an asshole. I think I can be an asshole, but you bring that on yourself,
Yeah.
right? I think I'm a good person, and I think I genuinely mean everything I say. But at the end of the day, here I am trying to promote a brand so that I make more money. So that's the thing, and that's the thing I sort of kind of struggle with.
What do you think, Craig? I'm gonna let Craig go first because I'm very interested because he's on fire tonight. So I'm very interested in what he has to
Very
say.
insightful.
I think it's just you got to step back and look at the person or the company as a whole as well. Like, yeah, there's that kind of conflict in it, where it's like, yeah, you're trying to say like, it's not about the money, but obviously you've got to make some money.
Right.
So yeah, I think you have to look at the whole situation and see how, and if as a consumer, like, does it relate? Can you relate to it? Does it speak to you? Like, if it's a small company, like something like Punisher, and basically the product is you, Damien, then
Yeah.
it's like, how do they connect with you? Do they connect with the words you're saying? Do they connect with, like the words you're saying, but the actions that go along with it?
I think that's the trick, right? I think the trick is so if you take me for an example, and I'm not trying to steal all your thunder, Drew, because this show should be.
I have a. Please continue. I want to hear what you have to say.
But I think that's the trick for a person where it's me, Craig. I think people could be like, yeah, I like it. I like the brand. I like Damien, but I'm not going to make my mind up until I meet them in person, or I have a hunt with them, or I know somebody that has had a hunt with him, because then I'll know if he's actually genuine.
Well, and I think that's where, again, the importance of things and how we've talked about over the last few months, just kind of that resurgence of shows, right? Because people they want that connection. They want to be able to shake your hand and talk to you and understand
the
you.
shows. I agree with you 100%.
So I think there's an appetite for that. They want to know the brands. They want to know
100%.
the people behind it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, man, that's all right. First off, phenomenal question. Right, like, is it?
Hey,
I would
we can
argue.
put down on this show, but we can be serious sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean that was heavy. That was oof. Yeah. Um, yeah, and Craig's on fire right now, so you better bring your A game. So, wow, yeah, phenomenal question.
Now, I will preface that by saying I will go to Craig a lot of the times and I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Does this make me look fishy, or does this make me look like a douchebag? And because Craig has a very, very good sense of when people are faking shit. And I ask Craig all the time, and I'm like, hey, if I do this make me look shady or fishy or whatever? Because Craig has a really good sense of seeing people when they're pretending to be something that they're not.
Yeah, no, I think artificial perception is what we call it at my job. Like, you painting a picture of yourself to others, it is like how people sell a lot of stuff these days. I would argue that a person like you two would probably make your money in person, right? Like it, but I would argue also that your show is this podcast is it's you guys, your candor and like the way you talk about things illustrates your authenticity. I think it, yeah.
Yeah, you're fucking
So I think there's a lot of for me as a person coming up, like starting a business in the waterfowl game, I'm concerned with one thing specifically, and that's improving your experience, right? To enjoy those moments in the field, right? Like, that's up to you to decide whether or not you believe that. However, my product is what I perceive is going to push you over the edge.
There you go.
So that's how I perceive that question. It's a phenomenal question. I think it'd be really cool if a lot of other companies would ask themselves that question. It's right, because there's a lot.
I think most companies do in their infancy when they're starting out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's an awesome point, man. Like, I think a lot of people.
I honestly do. Like, if you just look at the waterfowling or the hunting world, right? I would say 99% of all the brands that are out in the hunting and fishing world
Yep.
all started out of necessity because they thought, well, I'm using this, I like it, but I think I can make it better.
Yes.
And right, and so they did, and their reasoning is, hey, I can make this better where we can catch more fish, or we can get more deer or more turkey or more ducks,
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's as more hands get in the pot when things start getting a little bit dicey. And I'm not here to say, listen, if some big conglomerate wants to buy Punisher Waterfowl, come on board. Hand me your money, hand me your pot of gold, and whatever.
Dude,
I'm
okay,
not
you're
saying
hitting
that
on something I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I bet you 99% of the brands that are in the hunting outdoor space, I think they all started because they think that they could make an improvement and make someone's life easier or better.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
And
Yeah. Please, Craig, if you had
no,
something.
go ahead.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I had a buddy come by yesterday. He like passing through town. He stayed the night. We had beers, and he asked me. He said he hit me with that question, that exact question, Damien. He was like, "Look, man, like Canard's clearly gonna be something because you're not gonna stop. But
Right.
what happens when the big conglomerate comes to you and goes, 'I'll give you $2 million for
Yeah.
Canards. See you around, man.'" Like,
Yeah.
and I can't help but think of, and maybe this isn't the whole story. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe they'll correct me on the internet. I don't know. Uh, Momarsh. Momarsh is now owned. I'm pretty sure is owned by
Yeah.
the conglomerate that owns Higdon, or
Yeah.
Higdon, or however you say it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Momarsh makes an incredible. They make the best dog products in the game,
Yeah.
right? But they got bought out by somebody, but the owner is still in charge, and he still pushes the brand. And it's
Yeah.
like,
I
wow,
recall. Yeah.
yeah, like that dude is awesome. Like I've watched a shitload of stuff on him, and he's a cool dude, and like he's still in charge of his.
Go back 200 episodes, and he was probably on the show.
Yeah, dude. Like it just fascinates me. Like
he's a veterinarian.
Yeah,
an amazing dude. And yeah, they got bought out. But anyways, I cut you off.
no. But that's my point. Is like he's still doing it. He's still making an incredible product, customer oriented. Like, dude, if that's the way it shakes out, like, and I'm still in charge, that's awesome, right? Because I can say honestly, because after that kid, I gave that hat to that kid. I looked at my wife and I was like, no matter what happens, I have to make it about the customer. Right? Because like moving forward, when you meet me in a trade show and you're wearing, because I make everything in batches, right? So if you wear a batch one hat and you meet me in a trade show, chances are I'm going to give you a discount because you were there from the beginning. It is a physical demonstration that you were there from the beginning. And I'm going to reward that, right? Because loyalty in our common day and age is, maybe it's not as common as everyone thinks. I don't know. But in my life, it is not. And I feel like that thing should be rewarded, right? So if you meet me at a trade show and you've got some variation of a bottomland hat on that I know is batch one, right? Like I'm going to reward said thing because it's about the customer and the experience, right? Because here's the deal, man. Hunting is a resource. We got to take care of it. And if we don't behave together, right? Look, I don't. If you're a dick outfitter or whatever, it doesn't matter. We all have to do our part, or there's nothing going to be for our kids. Like,
100%.
Get with the program, or like, don't stop hunting. Really, is my perception of that. Like, it's about leaving something for our children, daughters, sons, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Leave something for the next guy. So,
Yeah.
that's.
Hey,
I know
man,
that's something.
that's a great point to end the show on, which means if you got more to talk about, Drew, you got to come back on again. So
I'm not arguing in the least. Like,
it's awesome, man. No, it was a really real. Craig, we talked about it, and I know you had brought it up to me way back when we first started this show, and you had said how you were surprised that people were just, the guests were just genuine people,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, for the size of who some of these people have been that
Yeah.
have been on. Yeah.
right? Like, some of the people that have been on the show have been people that I've been watching for fucking years, right? And meanwhile, now they call me up out of the blue to have a chat and stuff like that. We are in a part of an industry that I don't think is similar to anything else, in that it's a hunting industry, and I get it. There's big names out there and there's money attached, but at the end of the day, once you get to know them, 99.9% of them are just good people, and they've come across some dicks, and so some of them may be a little bit hesitant. Don't judge right off the bat until you get to know them, because there's been a lot of fucking assholes that have screwed shit up, right? So
Yeah.
take your time, get to know the brand, get to know the person, because and now you can get to know the person so easy with social media and podcasts and YouTube. Like, you can get to know somebody so easy now. So don't cast a judgment. That don't, just get out there and do it. And we are in an industry, in a way of life that is unlike anything else. And just like you said, Drew, it's up to us to protect it and to make sure that it's here for future generations. And really, we need to.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, it's under attack. So you have a choice here. You can either be selfish and not do anything about it, or you can, like, look, I'm not asking you to go out and protest, but I would argue that you have a choice. Stand up, use your vote for something that matters, regardless of where you live or what have you. Right? Like, you nailed it, man. Like, it's up to all of us. It's an incredible thing that we have access to, and we can't lose it.
Absolutely. Okay. Great way to end the show, which means you get to come back again, Drew. So, Craig, over to you, buddy.
I just want to add a bit to what you were saying there, Damien, just with the personalities and that have come on, and getting to know people more one-on-one. And Drew, like we were talking about when Damien stepped away before we hit record, like just talking about doing the podcast, and some podcasts standing out for just that bigger level of genuineness to it, right? And and that's what I've liked about being on here before I was on and just listening, was seeing those people come on to a podcast like this and just shooting the shit. Like, it's just like you're sitting on the porch at the end of the hunt or whatever, just talking and getting to know each other one-on-one, and getting a better feel for a brand, for a person. And I don't think you can beat that sort of thing.
No, not at all, man.
Drew, to you, my man, last word.
Oh yeah. Oh man. No pressure. So, it's Craig nailed it. There's really not much to add. I think there's a lot of things that can be said over a post-hunt breakfast, right? Eat a meal with somebody, and I think you're going to learn a lot, and especially about hunters. And if you're on the fence or you're a new hunter, seek out people that know more than you. I promise you won't regret it. Right? There's always something. Nobody's got it all figured out. We're all students of wildlife, man. And I hope to see you across the table at wherever you choose to eat breakfast. And to your listeners, thank you. You guys are absolutely incredible.
Amazing. Amazing, buddy. Hey, everybody, please check out Canards Waterfowl. Give Drew some love. And listen, place an order. You spend more at McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and Tim Hortons than what it would to support this brand. So give them some love, and who knows, you could be part of something so big. You'll be rocking that hat for years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 227 of the Union 0430 podcast. We are not experts, nor will we ever pretend to be. We're just dudes that love hanging out and talking anything duck hunting. Surround yourself with good people, big love, and see you all soon.